Manchester United, the omens weren't quite so good. Their great players were nearing the end of their careers, and at 26 it looked like George Best was doing the same. From a beach in Spain that summer, he told the papers he was quitting, but he'd come back to face the music.
We've decided to suspend him for 2 weeks as from next Monday, which will mean that he won't be coming on the club's pre-season tour. And also he's been directed to go to live with Mr. and Mrs. Paddy Crerand for a time, to enable him to get regular habits, which he finds difficult to do living on his own.
It's been difficult for the club because I've done a few things which, you know, have been wrong and let them down a couple of times. So now I've just got to try and prove it. I've stopped doing it and go out and just play football.
Wyn Davies is signed from City, Ted McDougall from Bournemouth, but the slide continues. On December the 4th, George Best leaves Manchester without permission and is later spotted in a London nightclub.
I was in London on Monday, and I happened to go down into Tramps, a discotheque, and I saw George Best down there, and he was sat at the bar. He was with a young lady to start off with, and he was alone, and then he was alone, just left after 5 minutes, and was alone. And I went up to him and said hello, and I was talking to him, and he seemed very dejected and sort of, well, he looked very tired. And he seemed to be a person with a few problems, you know.
No one at Old Trafford has seen George Best since Manchester United's 3-0 defeat at West Ham last Saturday. Other members of the team have been training daily, but there's been no sign of the team.
O'Farrell was sacked and Manchester was a divided city.
I think it's a good job that George Best is practicing football. It's causing the club a lot of embarrassment.
I think he's great, George Best. I just think there's a lot of jealousy.
He's a good footballer, but outside of being a footballer...
It won't be the same without him. I wish he was still back there, don't you? Yeah.
I think he's behaved abominably. I think he's treated the team as a team terrible.
Best player United have ever had, Best.
Yeah, definitely.
To put him the point of the trouble for United is rubbish. The big culprits of United are the directors.
Let's be fair about this. When you're talking about O'Farrell, he picked the team and he picked the worst team ever for last Saturday, and they got beat 5-0 without Georgie Best.
Look how many chances Best has had, and look how many chances O'Farrell's had. He's had none.
And I've always liked George Best, but I think he's got away with murder. I don't think O'Farrell should have been sacked for him.
Over the past few months, things haven't been right here. I think the players would welcome the chance to start from scratch.
Favourite for the job, Tommy Docherty, was giving nothing away.
I'd heard that perhaps a meeting was being arranged between yourselves and the officials.
Well, if you have, could you let me know when it is, would you, please?
Are you, in fact, going to be arranging?
I don't know. I don't know, really.
If they did approach you, would you seriously consider taking a job with Manchester United?
I don't know. I've got to wait until they approach me.
Well, you must be thinking about it. It must be in your mind.
It's you that's thinking about it, you know?
Well, you obviously know that an offer could be on the cards.
Yeah, that's true. I would say that's true, yeah.
And if an offer did come along, what would your reaction be to it?
I wouldn't like to tell you that.
Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, we're off the record. It's your job to ask questions. It's my job to avoid them. Sorry if I haven't not embarrassed you anyway.
Tonight, Tommy Docherty, who became Manchester United manager an hour ago, joins us in the kick-off studio.
The Doc arrived at Old Trafford promising gradual change.
I think you must give the players who are there the opportunity.
But one or two players found their cards marked straight away.
The most difficult aspects has been, without being disrespectful to a lot of the players who were here, which I would call dead wood for the want of a better word, was to try and get them away.
Exit McDougall and Davis, enter Macari and Graham.